Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is the NTN Xpedite from PSE, new for 2021. This just came in my shop on Friday, and I've had massive amounts of people asking me about this bow. This is the new speed bow from PSE. The other speed bow in the past was the full throttle from PSE, which shot 366 feet per second. The problem with the full throttle was it was draw length specific. So let's say you wanted to go to 29.5, you had to buy new cams, and that was a bit of a pain. The Xpedite in the old form had rotating modules, so much more popular and really popular for people wanting a fast bow. The NTN version follows that down the same path with the same cam system. So it's a binary cam, twin cam system with these yokes here, which as you pull the bow back, the yoke comes off the cam here evenly, so basically you get even limb balance. Now with PSE, each limb is a different poundage by about 1 pound difference. The deflection numbers are on the inside here, so you can see the top left is 155, top right is 160, so this being the strongest. 156 bottom left and 158 bottom right. So that's got to do with cam lean and that sort of stuff to try and keep these cams in alignment. So what's really good about this cam system that PSE has is that you've got rotating modules. So this bow can be adjusted from 24.5 to 30 inches in draw length just by changing these two little modules here. Got two screws, just undo them and move them to whichever setting you want. Now currently on C's 29, A being 30, each letter is ½ an inch. You can change the let off here by moving it forward. You remove it by 10%. So this should be a 90% let off, 90% let off. So I've got this bow set on 60 pounds. So when I pull it back, I'm going to be holding 6 pounds. Now because this is a speed bow, 360 feet per second, I'm going to expect this bow to be really hard to pull back the whole way and then suddenly drop off to the 6 pounds, literally with no valley, to get that huge amount of speed. This is going to make it hard for me to let this bow down. So I'm going to, because it's only holding 6 pounds, I'm going to kind of want to push it forward to let the bow down. So I'm guessing that I'll want to just shoot this bow, shoot the arrow when I'm taking the shot. Now with PSE you can change these modules. You can see here it's got HL, which is high let off. You can go for low let off, and you can go for fast modules to change the feel of it. The fast modules are adjustable from 65 to 75%. Now for me, I would clearly shoot 65 to 75% let off, because holding 70%, which would be holding 18 pounds when I'm back here, would just be a little bit more comfortable for me. I'm going to say majority of people are going to prefer 90% let off because they can just sit there and aim. They don't require much effort. The paint finish on this, now a lot of the PSE bows are an anodized black. This is a powder coat black, I'm going to guess. So you can see the kind of dimpling effect on it. Does it look as good? It's a dull matte finish. I probably prefer anodized. This is painted. I don't know, what do you prefer? It's got multiple sight holes here for the sight to mount it to. Only the one Allen key, one hole there. I would have thought PSE would have put in two stabilizer holes here on the riser. This became kind of standard, and the one back one. Now what's interesting here, you've got the front ones are bushing, but the back one's not. The back one's just tapped into the riser. I'm not sure why they don't put a bushing in there as well. Now they've gone away from the caged riser effect on the old bow. The bow itself is, I think, 33 inches axle. It looks longer. Not a huge fan of these limb dampeners that PSE put on. A fan of these new graphics on the limbs. I think they look pretty good. Metal limb pockets. It's got a wedge lock system here. Now you don't change the wedge lock system here when you wind the bow up or down. The purpose of the wedge lock is to push the limbs up against the size of these pockets. when you're putting the bow in. So when you're building the limbs, fitting the limbs to the pocket here, so you screw it in and the limbs are locked in place. That's the purpose of the wedge lock. So don't adjust the wedge lock when you're winding the bow up and down. The only time you touch the wedge lock is if you're replacing the limbs. So what do I think, just looking at this bow? They've gone for the bigger axles here, which is good. Now I haven't shot this bow, but just looking at it, the NTN bows had shorter limbs and they were more parallel. This to me kind of looks like the limb design of last year's Xpedite, being, you know, still under a lot of tension here. I kind of wonder why they didn't go for the more parallel shorter limbs, because the shorter limbs would give you less shock. I'm sure there's a reason, I don't know what it was. So I think this is going to shoot pretty much like my full throttle, like last year's Xpedite. It's got a rubber grip, which last year's didn't have. Now you can take this grip off if you don't want to shoot with it. String dampener here, 5.5 inch brace height. Now I find 5.5 harder to shoot. It will be faster, but it'll become more twitchy. So when I pull this bow back, I'm going to get a bit more of this stuff happening. So with that, I've wound this bow down 5 turns. You can wind this bow down 10 turns in total. 5 turns got this bow to exactly 59.75 pounds. And with that, let's try drawing it. So these come with the live wire strings. They're made at the PSE factory by computer. Roller glide. Cable guard, obviously changed to a solid cable guard rod. The arrows I shoot with all my tests are gold tip velocities, 327 grains. They're a 400 spine arrow and 90 grain point. 360 feet per second. You'd be hoping for 320 through the chronograph, which I think is the fastest I've kind of seen in any of my tests through the chronograph. It's hard. It's getting easier, There. Oh, the drop off's not too bad. Let's take the shot. .317 feet per second, which is close to the 320, I guess. So the draw, I could feel it there in my arm as I was drawing. It's not too bad. It's definitely not as bad as the full throttle, and a few of my staff shot this bow before me. This is the first time I've drawn the bow and shot it, and they said the draw cycle was really hard. Now I'm going to say they're shooting the NTN 33s and 35s, which is very easy, but I didn't find that this hard. I definitely found that like it's hard, but it's the stop off when you get back here is rock solid. .315. I'm going to say there's a bit of vibration shock when you shoot the bow. You can see the balance, it's balancing forward. So if you're going to fit a front stabilizer, you're going to need a back stabilizer. Now if you're shooting bow hunter class, which is 5 pins with a 10 inch 12 inch stabilizer out the front, that's going to be more forward pressure. Let's just have another shot. I like fast bows. Fast bows are kind of cool to shoot. So it feels heavier to draw than a 290 feet per second bow, but it's not bad. I can feel it in my shoulders already, but it's not bad because I think some of the reasons a bow is hard to pull back, if I go back to my prime video, it was peaking about here. I want the bow to peak down here because this is where I've got my strength. Up here I've lost my strength because I've got nowhere else to move. So this is a speed bow with a 5-inch brace height. It's peaking really early in the draw cycle. So very early in the draw cycle, the grip I find comfortable. I'm going to guess the bow weighs about 4.8 pounds. .316. Now when it drops off, some bows really drop off, it's actually not too bad. It gives you a little bit of a downwards plateau before it hits that valley. It's actually not too bad. I find it pretty comfortable to shoot. The draw stop feels really rock solid at the back. Kind of interested to see how I'll shoot with it. So with that, we'll go back to 18 meters and see how I shoot. And this is a real test because my theory is that I shoot really well with the 7-inch brace height and less so with the shorter inch brace height. So I've been really sticking to bows which are 7 inches in brace height for me to shoot. But I do like the speed bows. Don't know. Now this bow, I'm guessing it comes in a whole bunch of colors, camo, tans. The tan's becoming really popular. I don't know about this black. Black is one of the most popular colors. I don't know if I like it or don't like it, this finish. Part of me, PSE with the NTN bows, they do this finish in the green, the black, I think a tan. It's been extremely popular. But then when I see one which is done in anodized, in a dull black, I had a Supra come in which was dull black, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'm going to be a little bit, I don't know if I like it or don't like it. But been really popular, so probably customers don't think about it. Where me looking at bows, I'm like thinking, why did they do paint versus anodized? What's preferred by consumers? And I'm thinking about what I prefer. Right now I'm thinking about what I prefer. So with that, let's go and shoot 18 and see how well I shoot. Okay, so I'm back at 18 meters. We're going to try the NTN Xpedite. Now I literally shot 2 arrows. One hit the gold at 9, here's a 9 at 11 o'clock. And the other one before that was an 8 low. So, but what I did see is I saw the twitching. I saw this in my sight picture, which is what I expected. When I sort of said up close, this is what I expect to see from a 5.5 inch brace height. And that got me thinking about my friend in WA who shoots an Xpedite. So Vaughan is a very good shooter, very competent 3D shooter. I'm going to say state champion. He hunts, he shoots an Xpedite. He was a Matthews fanboy and somehow he switched to PSE. And I'm going to say, like, there's a whole bunch of Hoyt shooters that have switched to PSE. I've got so many secondhand Hoyts in my store. I feel like I'm the biggest Hoyt store in Australia now, but every one of them secondhand. I would have to have 11 Hoyt secondhand bows, although I sold 2 the other day. He switched to an Xpedite and he loves it. So he shoots with it for target, for field. For me, when I look at a bow and people say, well, which bow are you going to shoot and why are you going to shoot it? I get asked that literally every day. I like the PSE Supra. It's a 30-40 inch bow I'm shooting now. It's got a smooth draw cycle. It's fast, easy to adjust. It's just, people shoot big scores with it. It's affordable, $1,400. That's why I shoot the bow. Very, very easy to shoot. I'm a huge fan of the, we're talking PSE, I'm a huge fan of the NXT 33, just easy bow to shoot. I shot extremely well with it, and that bow's selling really, really well. Other brand bows I really like is the Elite Cure. There's a A lot of elite bows I like. There's a lot of obsession bows I like. Some of the latest Bowtechs I've just shot. The Revolt was really nice. The Reckoning was really nice. So when I look at this, Perform 3D is a really nice bow. When I look at this, I think, well, what am I wanting the bow for? Am I wanting a fast bow? When I look at this, I'm going, well, let's say I fitted the fast modules to it. There's another 7 feet per second. So I'm shooting, at the moment with these arrows, I'm shooting 316. So it's 323. I shoot the Victory 3D HVs to add another 20 feet per second to it. I'm pumping out 350 feet per second with a 60-pound bow at 29 inches. Oh, I'm liking that for 3D, as long as I can shoot it well. So that's the thing here. Let's see how well I can shoot this bow. And when I shot that shot, I got a little bit of this. I'm going to say when I get back there, my pin aim's really quick. It feels comfortable, the grip feels comfortable. It was a lovely day today, like absolutely beautiful, and I'm in a t-shirt. It's the first lovely day I can think of in months, and now the wind's starting to come up, but absolutely gorgeous day. When it's a beautiful day, I just feel like shooting. I'm like, it's a nice day, I just want to get out there and shoot, just relax. Where when it's awful weather, I'm like, oh, I don't want to shoot, it's too cold. I might as well keep working. I've been working a lot lately, so. Now, I don't think you get anything for nothing. So this bow is faster than the Supra, okay? But I'm working an extra 2 inches in the draw cycle than the Supra, because the Supra's got the 7-inch brace height. And I can feel it. This is a 60-pound bow, my Supra's 60-pound. I've got an Expression that I'm shooting tomorrow in the championship. And that bow at 60 just feels like an elastic band. It just feels so light. One of my staff got a new bow today, and I'm gonna say he just looked like a kid in a candy store. He was like, Mum's gone and brought him a sweet or a new toy, and he's going to go home and play with it. And it literally, as soon as he did, he sent through a picture on Facebook. I'm gonna say, I said to him, I said, you're in your happy place. It's like, because people like buying new bows. They might not need a new bow. There may not be any reason to buy a new bow. It's a new thing to play with, to experiment with, to try, see how you shoot with it compared to your old one. Ooh. That went off too early. So I think a lot of buying a new bow, if you're already an archer, is just that whole feeling of buying a new toy and playing with it. It's, you know, you might buy this bow because it's like, well, let's try a fast bow. The fast bow will let me misjudge distances a little. It'll be easier for me when I misjudge the distance. I'm going to say, so I shoot the Scottish end, and there's meant to be a little rubber band in there to hold this trigger down, and it's just playing in the back of my head that the rubber band's broken, and I'm like, oh, is this going to shoot? Like, it's fine, but it's just playing into my head a bit. I should have had a different release aid for tomorrow. Just get busy at work and I just forget to get a thumb release aid. Now, it's not like I don't have a thumb release aid, because I do. I just lend my stuff to people and I forget who I lend it to. So let's go and see what the grip's like down there. And I've got other back tension release aids I can use, but I lend them to people and they change the setup on them, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to reset it. So I'll just shoot with this one. So how did I feel that? How did I feel that shot? Without seeing the arrows, I can't see the arrows. I feel like I shot so much better with the NTN or NTX 33. Just felt so much easier to draw. It feels less shock, feels less noise, but less speed. Now I've got a full throttle, and I've owned a full throttle for about 5 years, the yellow and orange one, and I've shot it so little, where the Super I shoot all the time. So for me, knowing the way I shoot, this bow would be an option for me if I could shoot with the fast modules and go and shoot scores with it for 3D archery that were impressive. But I definitely would be looking at the 33 first, shooting scores with that, with the fast mods, and then this would be an option for me to see if I can pick up even more points. But let's go down and see what the grip's like. Okay, so up here at the target, when I do these reviews, I come up to the target and I'm like, wow, this is not what I expected. Now what you see is the height is almost perfect, so I'm locking into my face, and that gets me into the last review I did with a Chinese bow. I think it was the T1, where my up and down was perfect. Sorry, my left and right was perfect, but up and down was all over the place because I wasn't locking into my face correctly, because the peep sight was a little bit low. With this way, I'm pretty good. Height wise, it's awesome, but left and right is literally not great. I've got one going from one edge of the 9 and one going to the other edge of 9. Now this little group here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows is awesome, and even the little red one in the middle with the X veins, XS veins, is like, that's pretty good. Like, that's a big score, right? But these two to the side worries me a little bit. Now I'm going to get that because, like I said, I was getting a little bit of a twinge. I'm guessing this one to the left was that one which went off a little bit early in the shot, because I was expecting a flyer there. One, my sight pin was floating around, it just went off a little second before I expected it to, before it settled. But the other 4 or 5 are good. So that gets me to where I'm kind of at with this review. You have to buy a bow that you want to shoot, that you feel comfortable with, and that you enjoy. So I'm going to go back to Vaughan in WA. So Vaughan's been shooting that bow, I'm going to guess, for about 2 years. He loves it, he shoots everything with it, and he loves the bow. Now I like my full throttle. I've had it for 5 years. I've had many people ask me if I want to sell it, and I always say no. But I don't shoot it very often, and I've shot it for target and it shoots fine, right? This bow will shoot fine. Some stabilizers out the front, some stabilizers there, some extra speed. It would be an awesome little rig. But then I think about the NTN or the NXT 33 with the bigger brace height, easier draw cycle, and I think, well, I know that bow shoots easier and it's going to be easier on my body. So I'm going to say, just from shooting those arrows, from doing this review, my shoulder hurts a bit, and normally I can shoot 100 arrows for target and feel really nothing in my shoulders, but I do feel something from shooting that bow. So I suppose my summary is, if you're a serious 3D archer, or a hunter wanting the extra penetration. You can see these arrows are going in up to the veins, where a normal bow would be back further. Well, the Xpedite's a pretty awesome machine. It shoots well, but it comes at a cost. It's a harder draw cycle. It's going to be a little bit more twitchy left to right because of the shorter brace height. I think the draw cycle is as good as you can expect for a bow that shoots 360 feet per second. Really, it's better than the full throttle. It's better than anything else, even close in that speed, in my view. I don't know about the paintwork versus anodized. I'm kind of feeling I want anodized rather than paint. So then I'm feeling, well, do I want camo? And then part of me, because I'm a target shooter, and I've had this whole conversation that if I never get hassled. So if I go and shoot in open parkland and police are watching me shoot, they never come up to me, they never hassle me, and people go, that's because you're shooting a pretty target bow. I never hassled, and I do it all the time. And people go, oh, that's illegal, or whatever, right? I've never had a problem. If someone's walking past, I stop shooting, I'm polite, never had a problem, right? I question if I had a hunting bow, if I had a camo bow in a park-like setting, would I have a problem? I don't know. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But when I shoot a red bow or a pretty green bow or a white bow, people go, oh, that's cute. He's a target archer. So I've got this thing in the back of my mind that I kind of want to try an Xpedite. I kind of want to try one of these in an anodized finish, because I think that would be cool. I don't know if it's available because I haven't, like, it's just come out. These arrived in my shop on Friday. They've only just been released, and I really haven't even looked them up because we've just been flat out with work. It's been hard to get stock. I didn't even expect them in my store because I know PSE is behind with supply because of that backlog, because of the whole COVID stuff. But I feel like I would like one of these in target colors for 3D archery, to trying like the field rounds where you've got to guess a distance, because I can get the speed, I can shoot light arrows with it, and it's 1 arrow per target, 20 arrows for the day, so my shoulder's not going to feel anything. I could probably even shoot 65 pounds, I could maybe even shoot 70, and then I'm really pumping out some speed and I'm giving myself an advantage compared to the archer who's got the NXT 33 or a bow that shoots 330 feet per second. I've given myself a 10% advantage in speed. I don't know how much that equates to as far as distance wise, you know, like can I be out by an extra meter versus them, but it does give me an advantage, and that shooting the groups there is not too bad. I'm going to say with a set of stabilizers to get rid of the left and right movement, it's going to be pretty much the same. So on that, let's just kind of finish, let's wrap this review up. PSE is very well priced in the marketplace for what it has to offer. So I had some staff members say, you know, about brands like Hoyt and Matthews and Elite and all the other brands. And one thing that always comes back with PSE is the draw length adjustability is really easy to adjust, and the bows are about $300 to $400 cheaper than everyone else. So it's like, why would you shoot the other brand? That's what they say to me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of why I shoot it. Like, you know, Supra's 1400, where's another bow 1400 that's going to shoot like a Supra? That just doesn't exist. So for me, it's like, it's easy for me to justify. This bow at 360 feet per second, it's the fastest, cheapest bow on the market at that price point, at that speed. I mean, if money's no object to you, you can buy whichever bow you want. But if you're a bit tight with money, the PSE is kind of where you go. And I'm not kind of make it feel like everyone who shoots PSE is a bit tight with money, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe they're conscientious. I've got many very wealthy people shooting PSE bows. They're extremely wealthy and they just choose PSE because it's a nice bow to shoot. And I know money's no object for any of those people. So, but it is generally more price aware people buying PSEs when they're comparing bow brand A versus bow brand B. So it's very rare you find a person who goes, bow brand B is an extra 600 for the same bow, and they go, yeah, that's okay. It's very rare. It does happen, but it's rare. So with that, actually I don't think this is a much of an upgrade from the Xpedite from last year, to be honest. I feel like it sits in the hand well. I feel like I really want to try this bow for 3D, and I feel like I should be shooting 3D archery and trying my scores and shooting state championships with 3D. I feel like I should be doing that. So with that, I think I ordered some fast modules for this bow, and I talked to PSE about what colors are available for this bow, because I'm kind of a bit intrigued. So I feel like what I'll do is I'll get myself a 33 to try, and I'll get myself one of the Xpedite to try and shoot some scores with it. And I think I'll probably also talk to Vaughn about what scores he shoots with his Xpedite for the field round and his club, because I just think that group is good enough, even for target archery, to compete with a 5.5 inch brace height. And definitely the 7 inch brace height's easier, but that's worth considering. Talked enough. Enjoy your archery, and check out the shop bows in the local shop. 5-second summary: 5.5 inches is harder to shoot than 7 inches in brace height. Thanks for watching. Bye.